everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1995 movie Leprechaun 3. This movie follows a leprechaun that, once again, played by Warwick Davis, and this time he's in Las Vegas. The movie starts out, he's a statue, which I don't know why he's a statue. Well, actually I do, but it didn't say why at the beginning of the movie, but he has like this medallion around his neck, and this guy buys the statue of him, and he takes the medallion off of him, and the leprechaun comes back to life, but he can't like be around that medallion, and he comes back to life, and of course, you know how it goes, he kills the owner of the pawn shop, and kind of goes on a killing spree in Las Vegas, going after people that have gold. This is a alright movie. It was a lot better than Leprechaun 2. There was a big step up from that one, and everything. The kills are a little bit better in here, but they're still not like the best kills. But there are some good ones, especially one towards the end where there's a scene where it looks like he's doing a magic act and doing the cutting a guy in half, and it actually is cutting the guy in half. That was a really pretty awesome kill. And Caroline Williams, who was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, is in here. Which I loved her in that movie, is Stretch, one of my favorite final girls from that franchise. But her death scene is pretty cool too. She starts swelling up and stuff, and some of the makeup and stuff on it looks really good, and then it gets over the top really bad, cheesy practical effects. But it's still pretty amusing. It was a decent scene, but really and truly, besides those scenes, that's really about the only things about Leprechaun 3 that I really liked a lot. The guy who plays the main character, I cannot remember his name. He was okay. And there's also this weird thing going on with him where he's like turning into a human leprechaun. It's kind of like a weird subplot and everything, and he like tries to speak like him, and they have all these god-awful rhymes, which the first two movies had the rhyming and stuff too, but some of them in this one are just absolutely cringy. There was one that's like kind of cringy, corny, but also kind of funny, where he's like, you should have been willing to give my shilling, but something, should have been willing to give my shilling, but it's swell because you'll rot in hell, or something like that. It's really, really corny, but it's kind of funny too, though. And there was also one where he did this one-liner before he stabs a guy in the eye, and that was kind of a good one. The kills and stuff are a lot better in this movie, but I still don't really enjoy it a lot. I'm having a hard time with this franchise. Like I said, I loved the first one as a kid, and I like it still, just not as much as I used to, and this one just isn't one of my favorites. But I think it's an okay movie. It's just, it's not real great, but it is better than the last one for sure. Not quite as good as the first, but better than the second for sure. And there are other things I liked about it, like the cinematography is pretty good in here, and the score was alright, not the best score, not as good as the score in the first movie, but it's alright. I mean, it's kind of forgettable, but yeah. And there was also another scene that kind of stuck out a little bit, where he meets an Elvis impersonator, and he even does a little impersonation of Elvis, which, to be honest, I'm not really the hugest Elvis fan. Not really because I thought he was a bad singer. He had a really good voice. And everything. It's just kind of people that I've known that are obsessed with Elvis kind of have ruined my liking for him. So the Elvis reference kind of made me cringe, just because I'm so tired of hearing about Elvis because of people I know. But it was cringy, but it was also kind of humorous. But yeah, this movie just was alright for me. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. I just think it was alright. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Because it was a lot better than I was expecting, though. Because like I said, after the second movie, my expectations for the rest of this franchise had gone down a little bit. Because like I said, I had seen the first one, which I loved as a kid. I don't like it as much as I did back then. And I had seen at least one of the Hood ones. I'm not for sure which one it was. I think it was Back to the Hood. But I'll be able to say for sure when I review those. But yeah, I think this is just an alright movie. If you're a fan of horror movies, this probably won't entertain you, because it's more of a comedy than a horror movie. It's like a comedy fantasy movie with a little bit of horror elements added into it. That's what this whole franchise so far has pretty much been. But it's an alright movie. I've seen way worse, way better. It's just kind of a meh. It's probably not one that I'm going to want to revisit very often, but if you at least want to see this franchise to say you've seen it, it's not extremely terrible, and it's worth giving it a shot. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Leprechaun 3, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
That's enough, guys.
Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song that doesn't end.
How do I turn you off?